Hello everyone, welcome to the English class of Basava Residential Girls School for class 10, and today we'll be seeing the poem To a Pair of Sarus Cranes, which is the first poem in the textbook. You can find it on page 88 in the first part of your textbook. Okay, it is written by Dr. Manmohan Singh, IAS, who is a bird and animal enthusiast. Now we'll get right on with the poem. Okay, we'll start reading it. If you have your textbooks, you can go to the page which I just mentioned and read along with me. Okay, the male was shot as he necked to pull the reluctant sun out from the rim of horizon. She flew crying, and as he was picked up hands and jaws, and a proud neck was humbled to lie like dirty linen in a coarse washing bag. She circled the sky in movements of grace over his disgraceful end. The killers went away, and she returned to the death's scene with grief that inscribed its intensity in dots and pits, like the Morse code of birds' sorrow transmitted to the air. With her beak she kissed a few feathers, picked the ones that wind had not taken away, and sat to hatch the blood-stained feathers into a toddling chick. A wave of the seas she had never seen came to her from far away and carried her to him. She went away beyond Hume's words, beyond the legends and fables of human love. So this is the poem. Okay, now we will go line by line and see what it really means. Okay, now many of you would by now know what are Sarus cranes. So now these are Sarus cranes. They usually live in pairs. They mate for life. That means once they become a pair, they live together until one of them dies. If one of this pair dies, either a male or female, very soon the other partner will also die. They can't, once they mate, once they become a pair, they can't live separate from or away from each other. Okay, so these are cranes, very, very beautiful, graceful birds. So we will see what the poet has written. The male was shot as he necked to pull the reluctant sun from the rim of the horizon. So the male and the female are flying in the sky. So what was the male doing when he was shot dead by the poachers or the killers? He was flying and he was trying to pull the reluctant sun. The sun is very reluctant to rise out of the horizon. As if the sun is reluctant, this male is trying to pull him out and asking him to rise fast. Okay, this is a figure of speech. So the male from the sky is falling down. She, the female, flew. She's still flying. She's crying as she's flying. She's looking down. So what is happening down? As he was picked, the male was picked up hands and jaws. He was just picked. Okay, without any respect. These hunters are picking his dead body rather, and a proud neck was humbled. See, in the previous few lines we saw, he was very proudly with his long beautiful neck, he was trying to even pull the sun out. He was so like majestic. That proud, majestic, beautiful neck is now humbled. Humbled means like he is made to go below his level. Okay, to lie like dirty linen. Dirty linen means dirty clothes. that beautiful majestic bird is just made to lie down like a how do we treat dirty clothes? Do we treat it with lot of respect? No, right? Same way he is made to lie there as if we are just putting dirty clothes in a washing bag, just like that, like without any respect for this creature the hunters are treating him. Okay, see, this is just a representation. It is not a crane, but you can see how this bird is looking as if it is trying to, this is a horizon is where if you keep looking on a flat surface or in a beach or at a lake, you can see at the end where it looks as if the sky and the earth meets somewhere there at the end. That is called the horizon. Okay, so usually the sun, it looks as if the sun is rising from the horizon. It is like just popping up from the horizon. So this bird is even though it is not anywhere close to the sun, it looks as if it is trying to pull the sun out. So here's another example. If you see here, you can see two birds with their long necks over here. They are trying to pull the sun out of the horizon. So that is when he was shot. The next stanzas, she circled the sky in movements of grace. She is still circling the sky. Okay, she is very, very sorrowfully looking down what's happening to her partner over his disgraceful end. So he met a disgraceful end, not so nice end. So she is looking, she is crying. The killers went away and she returned to the death's scene with grief that inscribed its intensity. Now after the killers took the male bird away, that is when she came down. She came down to the death scene. So she came with grief, with lot of sorrow that described its intensity in dots and pits. So dots and pits are like, even you would have seen a bird, its regular chirping sound will be different, and when it is very scared it will be different. So each emotion, its emotion of a bird or even an animal is very different. We can make out. So those are like rise and fall in their volume or in their pitch. So here also the birds sounds are very different. That means it is it's expressing sorrow here. Maybe it's crying like the Morse code of birds' sorrow transmitted to the air. So what is Morse code? Morse code is a coded language which was invented by Samuel Morse. This Morse code, it was used for transmitting like coded words, like telegram. If you all might not know what a telegram is, it was like used to send messages to far off places. So they would not use languages like A, B, C, D. They would use like this. So A would not look like A, the regular alphabet A, but it would be a dot and a dash. So these are like Morse code. So even the female bird's voice, its crying was also like a coded word, which only maybe it was trying to talk to its male partner. Maybe she wants to tell him something. She wants to express her sorrow. So that is what the poet is telling here, like Morse code. Now the next stanza. With her beak she kissed a few feathers, picked the ones that wind had not taken away, and sat to hatch the blood-stained feathers into a toddling chick. So she saw a few blood-stained feathers left over there by the hunters. She took all those feathers with her beak. you know how a hen or a crow or any bird, how she would gather her chicks or the eggs with her beak, right? They would just, they don't use their hands like humans or monkeys. They would just push or pull those eggs or chicks towards them with their beaks. So in the same way, this female is trying to bring all those bloodstained feathers and trying to hatch them into a toddling chick. Toddling is like newborn chicks. How do they walk? They don't walk straight like the big birds, no? They would just tumble here and there, just struggling to walk. So that is what, as if to pull those chicks closer to her. The same way this female is trying to bring all those bloodstained feathers near her and trying to hatch them. She believes that somehow if he would come to life. A wave of the sea she had never seen before came to her from far away. Now she is very, very grieved. She is very sad. A wave of seas she had never seen before came to her from far away. So lot of grief is coming towards her from far away and carried her to him. So this wave of seas, maybe it can represent death of sorrow. So she died. So she went away with that wave to him, to the male bird. So where is the male bird now? So it is dead. So the female is also dead. She died in sorrow because she could not bear to be alone away from her partner. She went away beyond Hume's words, beyond the legends and fables of human love. Hume, who is Hume? Hume is a person, he is an ornithologist who is also a British officer who lived in India during the British rule. He was instrumental in forming the Indian National Congress also. You will learn about that in history. He is also a bird enthusiast. He is an ornithologist. So he has written a few books about bird migration and lot of interesting things about birds. So in his books he has written about these Sarus cranes, where usually about birds who mate for life, that these birds, when they lose their partner, within a very short span they also die in sorrow. So that is what this poet Dr. Manmohan Singh mentions, Hume's words. So beyond his words, this female crane went away, beyond the legends and fables of human love. So even there are many fables. Means what are fables? They are moral stories. Legends are also stories which have been handed down from generations to generation. They are like oral stories. So these stories of, there are so many stories of human love. So this female crane's stories are also beyond the words of Hume and the story of human love also. So this is the poem of Sarus crane. I hope you all liked it. See how sorrowfully the crane is sitting. So this is Alan Octavian Hume, or A.O. Hume as he is usually called. So this is a book which he wrote about birds, the game birds of India, Burma and Ceylon. Thank you. There is a small quiz which you can attempt. I have sent the link with this video. Thank you. Have a great day.